It's the 2023 Super Bowl halftime show. Rihanna, dressed in all red, stares into the crowd on a suspended platform in the middle of the stadium. The performance was really entertaining, like most Super Bowl halftime shows. She didn't do any crazy maneuvers or stunts because she was pregnant at the time. And she wraps it up with the song Diamonds, which was really dramatic, well performed, and wait a minute, what is that? Why did she do that? Now, the obvious explanation is that, well, it's a diamond. But honestly, there's something strange about seeing her draped in red, making that symbol in front of millions of people. This definitely isn't enough evidence to claim she's a part of some satanic New World Order, but what I want to point out is that these red outfits and strange symbolism in pop culture isn't limited to this performance. I can recall countless instances where I've seen strange occultic stuff in recent concerts, music videos, and even Olympic ceremonies. Just look at this one, the Olympic ceremony in France, where they clearly replaced the disciples sitting at the table of the Last Supper with drag queens. The Weeknd's Save Your Tears music video, where it looks like he's at an Eyes Wide Shut party. Or Starboy, where The Weeknd kills an old version of himself and uses a red cross to destroy his house. Or Billie Eilish with All Good Girls Go to Hell. Or Sam Smith's Grammys performance where he's literally dressed as Satan. Or this music video of Lil Nas X posing as Jesus on the cross. Or this one of him grinding on the devil. Did I mention he dropped a line of Satan Air Maxes that had actual drops of blood from Mischief's employees in the air bubbles? The more I pay attention to it, the more it becomes concerning. Modern pop culture is infested with materialism, sex, references to drugs and partying, hate, heartbreak, and even straight up demonic stuff. It seems a bit too much, and it makes me wonder how much of this is just art or self-expression. Add to the fact that Hollywood and the fame industry are slandered with horrific stories of abuse, blackmail, and coercion. You have artists literally admitting to have sold their soul. All of this makes me really uncomfortable, and I want answers. If you're here, then you probably feel the same. That's why I've done some digging, and I hope what I found can give you some clarity on why the fame industry is the way it is, and where it all comes from. Welcome to the crazy, degenerate world of Satanism and celebrities. Let's start with the most obvious layer, the culture we're consuming and the messaging within it. Some people call this subliminal messaging, but honestly, it's not even subtle. Turn on the radio, scroll through TikTok, watch a new music video, and you'll find yourself bombarded by negative messaging. Hypersexualization, glorified violence, drugs, hatred, heartbreak, and materialism. According to Google, subliminal messaging refers to the practice of conveying messages below the threshold of conscious awareness. Except now, it's above that threshold. It's everywhere.
Yada, yada, yada. It's in my brain. Do you know that? It's living rent-free. I can't get it out. You did that.
Yeah, it's hypnosis.
And he's not wrong. Repetition shapes behavior. It conditions you, reprograms your emotional responses. So, why would celebrities push this stuff, especially knowing their influence? The simple answer: money! Negativity is profitable. People are addicted to drama, pain, and escaping their current reality. Another answer is that the artist is just being creative or expressing their trauma, but some argue it almost seems like the expression of these themes from the industry is organized and deliberate. So, what's actually happening here?
It's like when you see someone fart on screen. People just love that. I mean, that's just the way it is. So you're me. People are just people. And I have to give people what they want.
Fame doesn't come free. Behind every breakout star is a team. Agents, PR firms, record labels, and behind them, investment firms, corporate boards, billionaires. They give you the platform, the image, the audience, but it always comes with conditions, strings attached. The lucrative contracts they offer you are dense and deceptive. Prince, who built his empire relatively on his own, once said that the label still held the rights to everything he created.
It shouldn't be a situation where they own the album or the work. We're talking about intellectual copyright. If they're going to be indeed a delivery service, then that's fine. But even FedEx doesn't say that they own the thing that they ship.
Yo, the label's telling you, yo, listen, you have to sit down with Spotify, sit down with Apple. You have to do this interview. You have to.
They do these 360 deals where it's like,
right.
If you get a perfume deal, like your whole world,
they own you.
We own a piece of your whole world.
Literally, you could say, I don't feel like doing that. I don't even like that person. You have to. You're a puppet.
This manipulation is sometimes even taken further with blackmail, defamation, sexual abuse, and death threats if the artist decides to speak out or go against their abusers. But as heinous as this is, it still doesn't fully answer my question. What incentive do these powerful fame monopoly mafias receive in allowing or forcing these celebrities to put out songs that glorify murder and occultic themes? And just when I thought I couldn't find an answer to this, I stumbled upon a podcast with Ice Cube.
Okay, let's take rap music. Same people who own the labels own the prisons. It seems really kind of suspicious, if you want to say that word.
This idea that pushing music that can negatively influence people, alter their behavior, make them commit crime, and get them incarcerated to mutually benefit the prison companies seems far-fetched, but isn't unbelievable. Whether you're a conspiracy theorist or not doesn't really matter. It's pretty obvious that these big companies and some wealthy investors profit at the expense of others. Another good example of this is Big Pharma and Big Food. Having preservatives, chemicals, and dyes in certain foods can make them tastier and last longer on the shelves, while the pharmaceutical companies may also mutually benefit because more people become sick from these foods, which means they get to sell more medication to a sick population. This doesn't necessarily mean that they sit in rooms and talk about controlling and weakening the population, but the economics make it mutually beneficial. And just like the fact that people still consume garbage food, knowing it can cause health problems, lots of people also consume negative messaging and music, knowing it could be bad for them. But if you were to start looking for direct evidence of this through blogs, articles, interviews, and even SEC filings, it's very difficult to find solid proof of these investment firms that held adequate stock of prison companies and music labels at the same time, let alone having any influence over the production and marketing of the music itself. There's a lot of unknowns, and all you really have are the verbal testimonials from artists and industry insiders. What's clear is that the abundance of negative messaging in mainstream content has to do with three main things. The artists enjoy making it, people enjoy consuming it, and the companies behind the artists are getting paid handsomely. These are pretty obvious conclusions, and at this point of my research, I felt like I was beating a dead horse. But honestly, something was still bothering me. Negative messaging in popular media is one easily discernible aspect of this issue. But then I hear things like this.
If your ultimate goal is to be famous, then you're gonna do a lot to get there, like sign your name in blood in a contract with the devil.
And I begin to think, maybe there's more to this than meets the eye. Literally.
I sold my soul to the devil. I know it's a crappy deal. Lisa came with a few toys like a Happy Meal.
Selling your soul. What exactly does this mean? Well, in order to understand this, we have to look at it from a spiritual lens. Across ancient traditions, reality is split into two. The material world, which is everything you know, your body, your name, your reputation, your possessions, your career, and the second realm is the occult spiritual world. The word occult really just means hidden, and it's referencing your thoughts, feelings, and consciousness, which some call a soul. Most people spend their entire lives attached to the material world. They believe that they are their physical body, their job, their car, their clothes, and social status. But in mystical traditions, this material world is considered an illusion. According to these beliefs, we simultaneously reside in both realms. We experience the physical world with our 5 senses, but we also have a soul that is nothing but an observer of reality, using your temporary physical avatar to interface with the material world, almost like a video game that the soul is playing, experiencing a limited form of reality. According to the ancient religions and mystical traditions, there are forces and entities that also exist on these spiritual planes that don't physically manifest in our reality, yet they contribute to shaping it. And one of these entities is the supposed creator of the material world we experience. It's believed by the Gnostics that a demon or demiurge created the material world to defy the true God, the creator of the great spiritual realm. And this demiurge's attempt to recreate the spiritual realm was a catastrophic failure. This is because it ended up creating a material world which traps souls in an environment that allows sickness, pain, injustice, fear, and evil. This belief is even expressed in the Bible in 2 Corinthians 4:4. It states, "In their case, the God of this age has blinded the minds of unbelievers." That term is very important because it's not the creator, it's the deceiver. Satan, the architect of illusion. So, what does this have to do with the fame industry? Everything. Just think about it. If the goal of Satan or this demiurge is to blind people and make them defy the true creator in favor of this material world he created, then naturally he'd want to subjugate as many souls as possible, in the easiest way possible. And what's the best way to influence a massive contingent of people? It's culture, music, movies, media, icons. Turn the masses into worshippers of the flesh, of sex, money, vanity, violence, and they will abandon their souls willingly. You make fame the highest goal, you make money their new god, and then you give that power only to those who obey. It's a tool of brainwashing that makes people prioritize lower aspects of existence over their true identities from the spiritual realm. And for those who are skeptical of spirituality, you don't have to believe any of this to understand the meaning behind it. Selling your soul doesn't necessarily mean performing a satanic ritual to make a business deal with a demon. It's simply a choice to value the material at the expense of your own intuition, and to allow yourself to be subjugated by a Hollywood contract or other means, to a system that manipulates you into believing that fame and wealth are the only things that matter, and you will lose your access to them if you disobey the ones allowing you to have it. If your god becomes money and success, and there are organizations and institutions such as labels and companies who have endless amounts of money and access to a platform which makes you successful, then they become your god, because they can pull that rug right out from under you. In the Bible, Jesus was even tempted in a similar way by Satan to sell his own soul. In Matt 4:8-9, Satan tells him, "I'll give you all the kingdoms of the world if you bow down and worship me." Society's also manipulated this way because the media they consume influences them into falling for the illusion. Selling branded products becomes easier, selling the dream becomes easier, and the elite people who have an abundance of what the masses desire remain in absolute control. That is what selling your soul to the industry actually means. It doesn't have as much to do with spirituality and demons as much as it does manipulation and psychological control. So as a consumer of entertainment or a celebrity, how can you protect yourself against falling into psychological and spiritual manipulation? For one, avoid consuming garbage, and avoid excess consumption of any kind of media in general. People intrinsically find building and creating things fulfilling, which is the main reason I started this channel. It gives me the opportunity to monetize the things I enjoy learning about and share it with others. But once you have something to create, make sure you have control over the means of that creative process. Trust me, you don't want a lucrative contract that gives other people the authority to take over and corrupt what you're building, no matter how great the promises may seem. The last and arguably most important part of this is crafting something beneficial to the world. It's perfectly okay and normal to strive for fame, lots of money, nice cars, a big house, a strong body, but don't let these desires overwhelm and corrupt you, especially when evil people dangle these dreams in front of you like a carrot on a stick. With that being said, protect your mind and stay curious.